Hello everyone, I decided to film this to help one of my friends on Instagram to get to her headstand, but I know that it's a general feeling that headstand is a very difficult pose, and it is, and you should approach it with a lot of care. You're going to put a little bit of weight on your cervical vertebrae, so you want to make sure of a lot of things. First, that you're setting up properly. I would highly recommend that you work on your supported headstand before doing anything else. I know that sometimes we feel more balanced in tripod headstand, but I would highly recommend that you work on supported first. Your foundation is important, so it's important to know how to set up. There are different places to put your hands, so you can have your hands together or your hands cupping your head. In my opinion, with your hands cupping your head, you've got a little bit more amplitude here in your tripod, in your triangle as you set up. As soon as you close your hands together, you have to compensate by opening the elbows. And as you can see from a profile point of view, if you open your elbows a little wider, you've got this place here to balance. Whereas if you cup your head, you've got a little bit more distance here to balance, which is going to be important, certainly at the beginning. It's also important to know that you're pressing really hard into your forearms. You want minimum weight on your head. Like I said, cervical vertebrae are fragile. There's the smallest of our spine, and you really want to make sure that you don't compress any discs in the cervical spine, and that you take care, because you can't recover that afterwards. I also recommend that you work on headstand a little bit at a time. Don't try to think that once you get against the wall, for example, you should aim to get there for 10 minutes at a time. I never stay more than probably a minute in a headstand position, depending on what I'm working on. Sometimes I'm working on shifting legs and things like that. It gets to about a minute, sometimes a little bit more. After that, that's it for me. I know that I practice Ashtanga, and I know in the Ashtanga practice we're supposed to stay there about 30 breaths, I think. I never do. I think the most I do is about 10 breaths. First of all, because I'm tired after the practice, but also I don't love putting, we're upside down, we're not designed to be on our heads, basically, so let's stay safe in it. So the way to set up in your headstand, and I would highly, highly recommend that you do that, is that you're going to take your fingers around your triceps, not just the fingertips here, because if you're doing this, your elbows are wider than your shoulders. You're trying to take your elbows under your shoulders, so fingers around triceps, and then you, without moving the elbows, you take your hands forward, you interlace your fingers, and you're going to position your hands so that you can cup your head. And as you cup your head, you'll take your head here and you're going to cup, and you're going to press, you're going to hold your head, and at the same time you're going to press into your forearms. So how to find that strength in your forearms, and also obviously it's going to be a lot of shoulders and upper back, is I've got a lovely exercise that I do with my total beginners, but also my intermediates. I think it's quite a nice one to warm up the shoulders anyway. So you're going to set up, and you're going to take your head, top of your head, onto the floor. Before we do that, let's work on where to put your head on the floor. A lot of people ask me, where do I put my head? Do I put my head on forehead, back of the head? Where is it exactly on my head that I should feel that I'm pressing onto the floor? So you don't want to put your forehead on the floor, because in that position your cervical vertebrae will be in that kind of arch, and you don't want that. And by the same means, you don't want to be too far back, because then you'll be rounding your cervical vertebrae, and you will maybe you could have a slip disc, I suppose, in the cervical spine if you were doing that too much, because this, you're not supposed to put a lot of weight when your neck is in a certain position. It has to be straight. One of the things that you can ask a partner to do is, when you take your head on the floor, Just have them really trying to press into your neck to feel that your neck is not rounded, there's no vertebrae coming out, and your neck is not trying too much to arch back. So to do that, the exercise is to just take a block and balance the block on your head, and in this position you should feel where the head is going to be on the floor. Right, so that's it. First exercise is it's going to be going from dolphin to your head on the floor. So you set up your architecture, fingers around the tricep, sorry. Take your hands forward, cup your hands, and take your head to floor, move back a little bit, tuck your toes under, lift your hips. And then from here we're pushing into our dolphin position. And we're coming back, moving forward, holding, pressing the shoulders up, pressing into forearms, and then nice and easy, you press back. Pressing forward, lifting, and back. Right, so I would recommend 5 to 10 repetitions. After about 10 repetitions, you should feel that your shoulders are going to be really, really warm, which is a good thing. And you should feel where in the shoulders, it doesn't matter what the names of the muscles are, it doesn't matter. Just feel pose, yeah? Feel where you're going to have your strength. And then when you're really engaging and you're stronger in this area, you will find that actually the weight is not on your head, and it shouldn't be. You're putting a lot of strength into pressing into your headstand with almost this position. So working on to pincha is another great way to build on your shoulder strength. Obviously pincha needs a little bit of kicking, so it's a little different, but dolphin is fabulous. All right, dolphin dips. So dolphin dips, I would do them like this. I set up the same way in dolphin. I lift, and then I keep my bum up, and I go forward, and I press back, and I go forward, and I press back. This is a great exercise also to build up shoulder strength. All right, this is day 1. See you tomorrow.